This meeting of the Marion County Board of Education is called to order. Let us be standing. We'll have our pledge of allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Our agenda tonight consists of the call to order, the pledge of allegiance, recognition of the board chairs, and the election of the vice chairman, communications, student learning services, student support services, student learning and support consent items, and adjournment. These are all of the matters that we will consider tonight, and all of them are those that pertain to the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move that the board adopt the following amended agenda for the purpose of considering and acting on any and all matters pertaining to the following items of business.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. The next item is chairperson recognition.
Delane Pinkston, Vice Chairperson, has accepted the position as the board chair.
And having accepted the chairman of the Board of Education, we need a vice chairman. And so at this time, I will accept nominations for vice chairman. And you may nominate yourself. This is permissible.
I'd like to submit my name as nominee for vice chair.
Mr. Mike Cecil.
I would submit my name to the vice chairman also.
Butch Cecil. Well, are there any other nominations? Since there's only one and he has said he is not interested, I will, is there a motion?
I make a motion that the nomination cease.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I will call the roll for the vote. Mr. Butch Cecil, I take it you will vote for your stand?
Yes.
Mr. Mike Cecil,
For Mike Cecil.
okay. Mr. Miles,
Mike Cecil.
and I vote for Mike Cecil. Mr. Mike Cecil, you are the vice chairman of the Marion County Board of Education.
Appreciate it.
Would you like to make a statement or any comment?
I appreciate the confidence that the board showed in me, and I appreciate it. And I look forward to working with you and our superintendent, Ms. Dolores Schlosser.
Thank you. And at this time, we will have the superintendent's report.
Our superintendent's report tonight will begin with our focus, which is on leadership. And we will finish up our book study tomorrow with our leadership team, Maxwell's 21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership. And we do plan to start another book study this summer and, of course, continue. It was really nice to be able to do one chapter at each leadership meeting. Of course, our goals will continue. All students graduate college and career ready, students on math and reading level, and also no novice. Our first focus area is teaching and learning, and obviously the first thing we want to do at a meeting like today, since we've closed out our school year, is just talk about our highlights. And just on Friday, we had a great closing day. Our new district logo is obviously a highlight. Dream, Believe, and Achieve. Our district-wide lesson plan. It was really nice for everyone of the leadership team and the administrators to agree on what that would look like for teaching and learning. We're really excited about the progress we've made toward our process of PGES and implementing that in our new certified evaluation plan. as you all know, and I've said this before, is this is a part of the No Child Left Behind. We have so many acronyms, I didn't want to say an acronym, but NCLB. So that's a part of that. Obviously, Compass Learning was a huge hit with our teachers and our staff with respect to differentiated instruction. Our Kagan professional development that we had that a lot of our teachers participated in, as well as our instructional assistants. Very excited about the fact that we have a new reading series for all of our elementary school children. If you'll remember, about a year and a half ago, one of the things that came out at a Glasscock meeting was our teachers came to us and said we need textbooks for reading. So our board moved forward, and actually all of our elementary school students received new reading series books. So obviously we'll want to move forward with that, because I know that textbooks are always something that everybody looks for when we send our kids home, even though we are moving toward an age of technology. We had a lot of training this year. We had 3 days of work sessions for our staff, and that included all of our staff, not just our certified staff, but also our instructional assistants, our bus drivers, and it gave us an opportunity to provide extra training for those folks. Our food service, we increased our grab-and-go breakfast for our students, especially at the high school level. We gave them an opportunity to grab their breakfast and take it with them to our classroom, thanks to the high school staff who helped with that and made sure that kids were okay with taking breakfast with them, because as you know, breakfast is a good way to start the day off. We actually increased that to over 400 students eating breakfast, whereas we had less than 100, thanks to Miss Evans, who made that happen after spring break, and the staff. And we survived the winter of 2014. We missed 16 days and had lots of bad weather. We actually had more ice than we did snow, but we did have a bad winter, and you know, as that comes and goes. The wonderful part about that is we were fortunate enough to have no bus accidents with all the bad weather that we had. I would say that I have to brag about our buildings and grounds. We've got some great buildings and grounds, and that means we've got a lot of people that really put an emphasis on that, because we want to have a nice campus and take good care of the buildings that we do have. And then the last couple things that on our highlights from Friday morning was our strategic planning process, and obviously you can see the banners around and also the pledge cards to my left, as well as our timeline that we've created. But those pledge cards indicate the people that are excited about what's going on and are willing to pledge their time. But when we talk about strategic planning, what we want to do is we want to look at where is our district going to be in the next 3, 5, 10, and 20 years from now. One of the examples I talked about is if you know a 4-year-old, in 20 years from now, that child's going to be 24 years old. And what kind of opportunity and what kind of education do they have? So that strategic planning, and basically that learning begins at birth. We want our students to be ready to start school. Again, all students on grade level by the time they exit primary, which is the 3rd grade, are adolescents and graduate. And we'll talk more about that as we end with high expectations. Another exciting thing I think the staff was all pleased about is thankfully our legislators supported us with an opportunity to give our staff a 1% raise. And so everyone was excited about that, and we're very fortunate in Marion County to have folks like Jimmy Higdon and Terry Mills who listen and support what we do. So, as we talk about teaching and learning, one of the things we've done for the entire school years, we've always tried to look at data, and I know that our elementary and middle schools has presented a lot of data to the Board of Education. The high school doesn't participate in math data because it's a little bit different than what we do. What the high school does participate in is end-of-course assessments. And so, thankfully, we've completed our end-of-course assessments at the high school, and those are online. And because they are online, our results come immediately. So what Mr. Abel is going to do, we're going to do things a little bit different this time. We're actually going to have him go ahead rather than me present. Mr. Abel wants to present his data about end-of-course assessment, and I also know that some folks are interested in looking at our ACT data as well. And all of that leads to the data that the state used to determine what does college and career readiness looks like, which is one of our big dreams, which is all students graduate college and or career ready. And from the steering committee meeting that we attended last week, as you all know, one of the things that business and industry want is to make sure kids are prepared with hard skills as well as soft skills. And that'll be a continued focus of what we're looking for at our secondary level. Mr. Haley?
All right, you can go ahead and pull my PowerPoint up, please. While that's coming up, I did have a nice little quote from Benjamin Franklin. Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. And that's something we're always looking to do, is to improve, to achieve, and to have success with our students. The first slide is going to come up here eventually, I hope, is about college and career readiness. This year we had 128 seniors who attained college and or career readiness status. We had set a goal already in the year of 140 students. So we did come up about 12 short. Our goal was 63%. We reached right at 57%. Go ahead and just hit start the slideshow. Or from beginning, here would be great.
We're at 5.
Thank you. All right, there's our quote that we had. And if you go into the next slide, just a little bit more. All right, we had 128 seniors, 57%. Last year, that number was at 44.6%. So we did make some progress in that regard. I had hoped to make at least a 15 to 20% increase, but I feel like we've got a good start. We're getting the foundations in place that are going to allow us to continue to build on that. We had 61 students who are both college and career ready. So when you add these numbers in, we'll get the 57% and we'll get a bonus point for those kids that attain both college and career readiness. College readiness is meeting the benchmarks on the ACT. Career readiness is COSA exams and completing 3 courses in a pathway in order to be eligible to take that course. That's something we're really working for next year, is making sure we've got that scheduling in place that will allow more students to complete pathways and be eligible to take career readiness tests. Continue on. All right, ACT, if you look at our scores, we had 85 students scored 21 or better on the ACT when we took this in March. We had 10 students score 30 or better on the ACT. Now, our overall scores, in my opinion, were kind of hit or miss. We had some areas I feel like we had a lot of success. We had 2 areas where we actually declined a little bit. That's where we got to focus on for next year. In English, in 2014, our score was 19.68. Whereas 2013 it was 18.9. So we saw about a 0.7 jump there, which is very significant. Math, we went from a 19.2 in 2013 to an 18.9. So we had a little backslide there. Reading, similar situation, 19.1 this year, whereas a 19.5 in 2013. Science, we went from a 19.3, had about a half a point gain to about a 19.8. So, kind of with the good and the bad there, we did show about a 1/10 of a point gain. And some of these ACT scores in 2013 were actually some of the highest in school history. So, with the weather and just the type of students, I was disappointed when we went back in the area, but pleased to see the gains we did have in our English and our science. And these are not official. I haven't gotten these. These are just our raw data that I've taken from the results I have gotten back. This is not the official state results, and I don't know why or how they would change, but just kind of put that out there. All right, continue on, please. COSA exams. These are the skills assessment exams that we give at the high school. They actually give them at the Area Technology Center as well. The ones we give at the high school, we have agricultural education, communications, and leadership. We had 8 students take the test. We had 4 pass this year. Horticulture, we had 7 students take the exam. We didn't have any pass. So that's an area we've got to look at. We've got to see what's going on there. Are we focusing on the standards? Production livestock, 22 took it, 16 passed. So about almost a 73% pass rate. Consumer and family management, 4 took it, 3 passed. Culinary and food services, 12 took it and 5 passed. Early childhood education, 12 took it and 7 passed. fashion and interior design. We only had 2 students take the exam, and neither one of them passed, unfortunately. Where I was really most pleased is our engineering and technology. A lot of our project lead the way in those that program. Out of the 25 students who took the exam, we had 18 pass, so about a 72% pass rate in that area. Overall for the school, we had 92 students who took the exam, 53 passed, so about a 57.6% pass rate. As compared to last year, you can kind of look at the numbers in each individual area, but we had 113 take it, 44 passed last year, or a pass rate of right at 39%. So in that regard, I was very pleased, almost close to 18% the rate of improvement on those COSA exams. And I think a lot of that comes to the fact that we're really focusing on the what. We're making sure that teachers are teaching the standards that are going to be addressed on those COSA exams. We did get a lot more feedback on the COSA exams this year. We got specific student data and general data that will allow us to plan going forward how to better address some of our deficiencies. One of the areas we're already seeing is soft skills, just kind of a work ethic, just the general things that in talking with the community and some of the industrial leaders in the community, those are concerns they have with some of the younger workforce as well, that we need to look at putting a plan in place, how we can address that, how can we stress the importance of that to success in the workforce. So we've already talked working with our CTE teachers to see how our career technical education teachers to see how we can do that. So it's definitely something I feel like we've got a good plan in place to address. You continue on. All right, these are the technology centers. Mr. Barton's not here, but I just wanted to kind of throw some of the other exams, make you aware of that. The allied health, the communications, the construction, the manufacturing, and the transportation are also areas that students can earn COSA certification. Some other things with the career readiness that we didn't present and we're not finished with is our industry certifications as well, where they pass certain performance skills or different things where they earn those industry certifications that we're still working on those and haven't gotten all those numbers finalized just yet. All right? All right, this is our end of course exams. This is basically where our accountability comes from the state. There's 4 exams. First one we'll talk about will be Algebra 2. Algebra 2, we had an average score of 146. When we throw these numbers out there, I know it's kind of hard to determine. Basically, the state gives you a guide that this score, the student scores between 151 and 175, it basically translates into they've earned an A. And the state is the one that sets up this scale as far as what the score on end of course translates into in regard to a letter grade that we use for a student's final. At the high school, last year, we didn't have any improvement. We basically maintained where we were at last year. Last year, the overall score, our school average was a 146, which in a letter grade is a 77, which averages out at Marion County High School to be a C. Now, we did have 39 students who earned an A, which is about 13.6%, 41 students earning a B, 46.6% earning a C, 69% earning a D, and only 3% that did not pass the exam. In order to be considered proficient and distinguished, and we don't know exactly what that scale is going to look like, but to be sure, you can say the students who've earned A's and B's are pretty much guaranteed to be in that proficient or distinguished. Depending on how the state performs in general, they may slide those numbers a little bit up or down, but I'm looking at, at least 28% of our students. I'd like to have that number a lot higher, but math is definitely an area of concern, an area of focus at the high school. All right, our English 10, we had an average score of 155, which was a B. I could not find the data. I looked online and several other places to compare that to last year, but I know if you take these two numbers of students that scored A's and B's of 56%, that's significantly higher than what we had last year in regard to the percentage of students who were proficient or distinguished. So this is one of the areas I do feel really good about is our English 10, the test that our sophomores take at the end of the year there. All right. Biology, this is one where I should have a little bit of a backslide. Last year we had an average score of 151. I'm sorry, this year's 151, down a couple of points from the 153 we had last year. Last year we had significant jumps in science. We were hoping to maintain those and build on that, but we did go back a couple of points. If you look at the number of students, 23 earning A's, 19 earning B's, 76 earning C's, 29 earning D's, and 4 who did not pass, unfortunately. So we're looking at, again, about 27.5% of our students who should be at a minimum proficient or distinguished. What I'm seeing on these results is we've got a lot of the kids, we're right there. We're getting them close, but we've got to be able to push them over that borderline to where they're scoring in that proficient and that distinguished range. All right, and our last one is U.S. history. We have an average score of 148, which is an 85 or a B. We had, and if you look at these numbers, this is probably our strongest area at the high school at this point in time. We've got, actually about 62% of our students who are scoring proficient or distinguished at an A or a B. We've got 22% at a C who are getting close, and a relatively small number, 15%, scoring in the D or the F range. So, kind of common trend. We really got to work on the students who are, right there, who are close. What do we need to do? What extra help can we give them to allow them to score that proficient and distinguished range?
You
Got any questions?
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.